Hello! Me again, video number 2, summer 2025, August 16th, 2025, roughly 3 months after the spring set of videos here at the Pier Cove Sanctuary, where I've been working for, since when? When did I get here and start working? May 13th, I think, was my first work day here last year. So it's, you know, well over a year now. Pretty nice. And since those May 2025 videos were made 3 months ago, a lot has happened, especially with the meditation stations. So let's go check them out, shall we? Onward to the labyrinth first. I turn the camera. Here we go. So this part of the walk, of course, exactly the same as the inner loop walk. But we will be at the labyrinth in very short order, and I can talk a little bit about it. Some changes have happened there. I'm pretty sure, well, I know some changes have happened in the last 3 months. I'm not sure exactly how many changes. I'm almost positive that the bench that I'm about to show you at the labyrinth came in June. So I'm pretty sure, and that is the significant change, is the bench seating area around the labyrinth. So I'll talk about that now. So essentially what happened was, this labyrinth was done almost a year ago, and it has not changed since. I mean, like I mentioned before in the last video and in the videos 3 months ago, this was a pretty mystical experience building this. It knew exactly where it wanted to go. It knew exactly how it wanted to be built. And I just said, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, whoever, and did it. It took 10 days, working about 4 to 5 hours a day to dig it out by hand, and wheelbarrow in and shovel in all the stone into the trenches, and then it's just stayed here with no maintenance, being enjoyed by quite a few members of the public now, which is nice. And the deer also love to walk through it. They don't really do the paths, but dogs and deer walk across it and like it. And I knew I wanted a seating arrangement here so people could sit and just look at the labyrinth, because it's kind of cool just to look at even if you don't walk it. And right around that time I'm thinking about that bench, I get this notice that the Pier Cove beach, which is a public beach about 500 feet, you know, right, the road just, we're at the dead end of a very short road that goes right to Lake Michigan. And on Lake Michigan, just down the road a ways, very short ways, is a public beach. And this bench right here, this actual bench, this concrete bench, used to overlook Lake Michigan at that public beach. And I used to sit on this bench. It's a very special bench for me. And it turns out the homeowners also love this bench, each of them for their own reasons, which I didn't know directly, but I knew I loved it and I sat on it a lot. And so I contacted the construction crew in the city of Ganges, I believe is the town's name, interestingly enough. And I said, hey, here's the deal. If I donate some money to the project, will you give me the bench? And they said, fair trade. So the contractor, young fella, really nice guy named Logan, for the Pier Cove Beach construction project, renovation project, picked up this bench with his skid steer, and drove it all the way down the road, all the way down the driveway, drove it all the way through here, through the woods, through here. I had to cut some small sugar maples down, and I had dug a 9-inch pit here with packed stone, and he drove it right in here and set it down and got it basically level. It was really it was quite a talented maneuver. It was not easy to do. And I was impressed, and I think he was proud of himself. And so there was the bench. And so then I got, and to dig the pit out, of course, I made this earth berm behind it, you see. And so this was just an earth berm. And then I found this mossy log and placed it in the front to kind of give a little bit of an energetic separation from the labyrinth to the bench, because you didn't really want people instinctively getting up and walking into the labyrinth, you know, from here. The entrance to the labyrinth is over there. So I have the mossy log here, and then I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this berm? And then I thought, oh, right. As opposed to just a square pit of stone around the square bench, I'll make like a wave. And so I put some small stone down in this form, and then I've topped this front half of the wave with larger river stone. And I'm going to get some of the leftover river stone I've got, and I'm going to cascade it over the back, so it'll be like a wave of stone kind of emanating from the mossy log. That's the effect anyway, which is pretty cool. I mean, it looks pretty cool, really, I think. I mean, it's a really nice seating area. And I got that dogwood. That's a flowering dogwood, a moonrise dogwood, I think it's called. And it's lovely. It's to kind of give a backdrop, so when you're seated here, you feel like secure behind you and no energy from the driveway is hitting you in the back. And then you've got this nice seating arrangement at the labyrinth now. And that's the story of that. Thank you for listening. I continue now. Hello, dogwood. Right, so that's kind of cool. And at some point I should probably make a video about walking labyrinths and how amazing that can be. I used to do like workshops, and I've written like a short book about it. Very short book, more of like a poem really. But anyways, labyrinths are cool. I've had a lot of really wonderful experiences on this particular form of labyrinth, and indeed building this one. So maybe that's for another day. I'll make a video just about walking labyrinths. That could be interesting for people. But for now, you just Google that. You know, you Google 7-circuit labyrinth, and there's just all sorts of information online about that particular form of labyrinth, which is found all over the world in archaeological sites spanning many, 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 many thousands of years. And no one to this day actually can, with any definitiveness, state, you know, how that form got all over the world in all these different time frames. You know, it's really strange. It's like something about that form is like a footprint, or a, you know, of in our human DNA, maybe. Unclear. Anyway, I ramble. So we're taking a left here. Remember in the last video, the orange inner loop goes to the right. And now, if we continue here and walk the beginning phases of the Tranquility Loop, which is blue coded, blue dotted. I even got little signs made. Look at that. Look at that. Tranquility Loop. Isn't that cute? That's pretty nice, huh? And you come up to this hill. You remember from the video in May, I had started to work on a Zen garden. And I needed a boulder for the Zen garden. And I found the boulder. I went down to the same guy that I got the stone for the labyrinth from, just a couple of miles away here. Real nice guy, Todd. And he sells boulders, and I was looking at his boulders one day, and I just went in and talked to him, and I'm like, you know, the boulders you got out there are okay, but they're not what I'm looking for. And I need one about yay big, and it has to be really, really aesthetic and pretty. And he says, oh, you mean like that one right there by your car? And I had parked right next to this magnificent boulder that I immediately purchased. And then Logan, the same guy who moved the bench, agreed to come and transport this boulder with his skid steer through the woods from the driveway way over there along the same path to the bench. And then he took it over here and over there and crossed the path here and came over here, and he rode up the hill with it here, and he placed it in the Zen garden to anchor the Zen garden. And then I found some other stones that I could barely move myself in a wheelbarrow one at a time to place in here. And then I shoveled in about 12 yards, one wheelbarrow at a time. I would wheel it up here and dump it in, probably about 12 yards of river stone in this pit, and circled it with mossy logs. And so the effect is this. Check this out. I mean, come on. It's not even leaf blown. Normally the leaves are out of it. I haven't gotten to that, but isn't that something? I mean, come on. I can't even believe that. Like when I finished this, I couldn't even believe it. I know generally how I wanted it to look, but isn't that something? And look at that boulder. Isn't that beautiful? It has like mica in it, so it sparkles in the sunshine, and it's got all sorts of different minerals in it. One of them is like moss green and gray, and there's a little blue in there with it's something. And I planted this boxwood here so that you would get the oh my god effect. So you wouldn't see the stone coming up here, and you would come through the doorway made by this ironwood beech and this American beech, and you would round in and you would say, oh my goodness. And then I made that bench pit and put a bench there. I have a cushion for that bench too. It's the only bench with a cushion because I figured people might want to sit here for quite some time. And this was already constructed. You remember this from last time, the mossy log curve and the berm made of the dirt that I dug by hand out of this pit. And then my friend, the owner of this place, said, why don't you put some mossy logs on top of the berm? And I did, and it creates a very nice effect. It's really quite lovely. And then as the coup de grace, as they say, I planted a male and female holly, male to the left, female to the right, just off the bench, so they'll cross-pollinate and get some beautiful berries every fall. So this is the Zen garden, guys. Oh my god. And I lined it with these mossy logs too. And did some research on Zen gardens. So it's set in a basic triangular form that's off-center. The different groupings have to be odd numbers. So this is a 3-1-1. And I experimented with 7 stones, but it was too full. So there's a 5-stone Zen garden. And when it rains, these two turn green, that one turns black, and then the big boulder kind of glows white. So it looks really cool when everybody gets wet too. So, pretty good, huh? Boy, that turned out real well. So if you guys want to come hang out at the Zen garden and bring a plant-based picnic, you know, you can just come here and park your car and come up here and sit for a while and have your plant-based picnic here at the Peace Zen garden in this bench right here with these 2 holly trees. Lovely. And the third and final of the peace stations, the meditation stations, here is of course the tranquility loop, the blue dot. It curves this way. We'll do that in the next video. But we go left here and we have the tea patio, which I believe is essentially the same as it was 3 months ago, with the exception that I have added a candle lantern here. There's a smaller version of this candle lantern on the bench by the labyrinth. And there is a larger, much larger version of this candle lantern in the gazebo that I showed you in the last video. But this is a really nice place to sit. And of course, as you can see, I've still got some pickup to do here and some pickup to do over there and lots of pickup to do here, and move all that detritus downhill a ways back into the woods where I have some piles already started. And yeah, it's really cool here too, because I've cut some trees and I have opened up a window that then you can sit and watch the stars here. It's not a big window, but it's a nice window. It's a nice window. Yeah. And when the wind blows, lovely, lovely. And in the fall, when this is all gold here, oh my god, I'm already excited about that video. All right, so that is the meditation station video for summer of 2025 here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say. I don't think so. We might, since it's only 13 minutes in, I might turn the camera around and walk past the Zen garden again on the way out, because maybe that's just for me. Hopefully you'll allow me to take that liberty, okay? But peace out, I say now. I'm gonna turn the camera around, walk past the Zen garden again, and then get ready to make the long loop video, where a lot of work has been done. Love you guys. Peace. Turn the camera around now. All right. Oh yeah, 14 minutes, we're good. See, man. Isn't that great? I just really like this place. I getting inspired to get out here with the leaf blower. I got to blow these leaves away. It'll look so much nicer. And of course, when you see this in the fall, when all of the leaves are blown out of it and all the leaves above it are gold, I think it's going to be pretty spectacular. Oh, and also this. Look at this neat little moss garden here on this stump. Look at that. You can't really even tell. There's a little moss garden right there in that spur. That's pretty cool. Okay, bye to the Zen garden. And bye to you guys. And I'll see you in a minute for the Tranquility Loop long loop video. Bye bye.